there's this workbook. Did everyone get your workbooks?
Mhm.
And everyone has the book? Okay, so we're ready now. We're ready to get going. I'm really excited for what this next 12 weeks is going to entail. I wanted to introduce my dad who's on, Gregory R. Harris. I feel like we should have a drum roll. Welcome him. And also Danielle, she's joining us today. And everyone else was here last week, but it's just the most magnificent group of humans. Like seeing your faces makes me so happy. So I'm really excited. On the front of the book, it shares the intention that Helen and I, as we came up with this and getting ready for the retreat and everything else, is that we live love, we give love, we see life and others through the energy of love and respond in alignment to love. And the fact is human behavior and the way that we were raised and everything else often is the opposite. We act or we think from a place of fear or habit, right? And so we're really in this course breaking habit, and that takes consistency. And so it's one thing to show up at a course and just get more information and have someone teach and teach and teach and give you all these words, but this isn't actually a course about words. It's a course about embodiment and transformation, literally experiencing yourself differently. So in the first couple pages, and I encourage you to just read through, I think there's 2 or 3 pages that introduce the course. But at the bottom, at the first page, it says, this program is not about simply giving you information. Information's cheap, but transformation is priceless. Transformation is when you occur to yourself differently. And our aim is that you truly begin to occur to yourself differently every day of this program for yourself and others and beyond. And so that is really, like, I want to really emphasize that, like, this consistently showing up and doing your gratitudes and doing your workbook, like the formula for success that I think all of you are familiar with is first clarity, right? We're really clear. This is our intention. We want to show up in more love. We want to experience that yumminess that Casey's talking about, that he even experienced this week, and just focused on love and experiencing more love. And then we want to believe, like we increase our belief. And as you know, Casey and each one of you share your experiences of what it looks like to show up in more love, we increase our belief that that's possible for us. As we show up in more love, we increase our belief that it's possible to consistently grow in our ability to love. So the belief is the second part. And then the third part is action. We have to take action to have change in this world and to have a success on this planet. And the way that we do that is being consistent. And the consistency for, like, if you look at that formula, you can look and see which one do you struggle with the most, you know? And I know that for me, it's the consistency. So having a pod, having this this course, having the workbook, it holds me, kind of grounds me to this new way of being. So the first thing is like consistently showing up for yourself, playing full out. The more you put in, the more you'll get. And I guarantee you will experience miracles. Like, it's called A Course in Miracles for a reason. You will experience miracles every day as you continually show up in love. And I've said this before, but the thing that really hit me and helped me to commit to this course was when I heard the concept that it is, if we act out of fear, it's a crapshoot. Like, sometimes it works. I lived in working from a place of fear in several areas of my life, and I had a lot of success, but it also was like very unsteady, and I didn't know if what I was doing was going to give me the result that I want necessarily. But when you act from a place of love, it always works out, and you can trust in this concept that that the world is conspiring for your good, and it's all good. It's all gonna, like, no matter what happens, like, I just cut my foot yesterday on this like hurricane thing here in Cabo San Lucas, and immediately it was just like, oh, this must be for my good somehow. I kind of trust that because I know that I'm in love. And so it's a really like, that's what this piece that we're talking about is. It's not making everything wrong. So so that's kind of the big part of it. So if you can grab your books, and we're gonna kind of go through this first part of the book. It's really simple. Like I said, it's not like I'm gonna be teaching you a ton of words about this, but then afterwards we're going to go through and have you share your what, why, how in um, some breakout groups. And so I'm going to just give you a heads up about that because in the workbook or just on a sheet of paper, you can write out your what, why, how, and it's this page here. I think it's the third page, but the first thing is what do you want from this course? And so you're going to be answering that question on the pod, like, what is your target, or what are you committed to? What's your end in mind? So what do you want? The second one is why. Like, why do you want that? Why is that kind of your drive? What is your why in this? And then also, like, knowing who you want to be in the world. Why is this going to add to that? Why is this an augmentation to the world that you're creating, the life that you love, right? That's what we talk so much about. So the third one is your how. So that's your to-do list. Women, we're good at this. Casey, you're probably great at this. Is just like, what is your why? I'm going to show up daily on this call, like on my pod. I'm going to show up on time for the class. I'm going to play full out. I'm going to do the exercises in the book and really like apply this to everything. So however your to-do list is, but I'm gonna, like, when are you going to do your writing? Write that in your how. What time of day? What, how are you gonna get the writing done? So then
And you wanted to make a suggestion page of just doing it before or after your pod call?
oh yeah, we were talking about that. That makes the most sense to me. So if you don't know when to do it, just do it in the morning. There's like, I think 90% of people that exercise regularly do it in the morning. Anything you want to do as far as big rocks in your life and make sure you're consistent at it, morning routine is the perfect place to put it in. So if you're meeting at 8 o'clock with your pod, just do it at 7:50 every morning, or 8:10. So that's an easy way to do it. But make sure that you're really clear on when you're going to be doing these pages, because that's where you're really going to find like so many miracles. And I gave my dad one of the books that has like a blank page on either side, because I want him to then afterwards sit and like write his life stories out. So if you have extra inspiration while you start writing, then that's great. But in general, this is like a 5-minute practice. So I don't feel like you need to start writing for a half hour a day. This is a 15-minute a day addition to your life that will give you like a completely different experience of yourself after consistently showing up. So the final question is, how do I know I'm successful? So this is the one step that people don't include in the program, in what they do, and they skip this part in creating goals. We have the SMART goals, we have all these different ways of getting clarity, but this final step of how do I know I'm successful is actually the most powerful part. It's where you really look at the end in mind and embody it. So you're coming into the emotion of it, of like, oh, it feels so good. I'm like just shining. People are attracted to me like a magnet. I'm just in like clear about how showing up in love looks like. I'm clear in how I want to show up. So I'm proud of how I'm showing. Whatever it is, I feel proud of myself. I feel excited about life. I feel this inner peace. I feel like a neutrality towards the people that are causing me so much strife right now. I'm able to just let go and forgive the things that have been hurting me lately. Like those kind of things. Just get really clear on that, of how you'll know. At the end of the 12 weeks, I will look back and go, oh my gosh, that was the best thing I've ever done for myself, whatever it is, right? So get clear on that. So you're going to share that in a little bit, but before you go into your breakout rooms, we're going to introduce the first lesson. And some of you may have moved into it already, which is totally fine, but it's this beautiful sentence of all that I give to myself. And the concept of this is like, I want you to actually right now get a sticky note or a piece of paper, or two pieces of paper, ideally, or two sticky notes. And you're going to keep this sentence next to your bed and in your bathroom mirror area. You can even write out on your bathroom mirror one, you can write out, do I, you always ask, I'm finding it. Do I want to experience peace or suffering? What's the sentence that it says? Oh, here it is. Do I want to experience peace of mind, or do I want to experience conflict? This is page 4 of the workbook. But that's the question you're going to ask yourself each day. Do I want to experience peace of mind, or do I want to experience conflict? So that question, this comes back to the idea of the quality of our questions determine the quality of our life. When we ask good questions, we get good answers. When we ask crappy questions, we get crap answers. So if you're saying, oh, why am I so dumb? Oh, why did I mess up again? Your brain will go, oh, I'll tell you why, But if you ask this question of like, do I want to experience peace of mind, or do I want to experience conflict? And your brain goes, I want to experience peace of mind. And you go, okay, like how could I experience more and more peace of mind right now? That's another really good question to ask. How could I experience even more peace of mind right now? So have these questions up, and you're going to be referring to those every day. You're going to ask yourself, and you're going to find yourself kind of driving and getting kind of annoyed at a driver and going, oh, do I want to experience peace of mind, or do I want to experience conflict? Right? So keep asking yourself those questions. So you're going to, each morning, you're going to take this one sentence of all that I give is given to myself. And you're going to have it next to your bed, and you're just going to read it. You're going to meditate on it first thing in the morning. So what does this even mean? All I give to myself. So what are the kind of things that you give? And this is talking about energetics, right? But we can give anger. We can give frustration. We can give unforgiveness or resentment. But what do we want for ourselves? What are we asking the people around us for? And mostly we just want peace, love, and forgiveness. Like that's really, if we boil it down to 3 things, it's just peace, love, and forgiveness, right? But what are some other things that you feel yourself asking people for or wanting from other people? Just put it in the chat. What are some things that you recognize that you want from other people? Let me find my chat. Trust, acceptance. Yeah. Deeper connection. Grace. So how do we give more of that? And if you think about it, how do you actually, when I give grace, if I were like, I want more grace, like I feel like people are judging me, people are making me wrong, people are whatever non-grace looks like. And you want to just yell out to the world, like, give me some grace. Then what if you just turned it around and went like, I am a grace machine. I'm walking through life like abundantly, just giving grace to everyone. Oh, like you're beating your child. Wow. Like I am so grateful. I have not gotten to that point yet. And I
Paige,
hope
I have
that
a
I never
question
do.
about that.
Yeah.
Do you think that, you know, the phrase you taught us, if you spot it, you got it? Do you
Yeah.
think that that works backwards? Like, if I try to spot grace everywhere around me, then I'll get some more of it. Like, does it ever work backwards? Have you thought of
Totally.
that?
Like because it's the all that I give to myself. I'm giving the like I'm noticing and I'm accessing the vibration and consciousness and awareness of yeah, grace or what I want, right? So it's this is like such an interesting concept for codependence because in codependence we're so focused on giving to other people and it's almost like we're not acknowledging this concept that what we're giving to ourselves and it's an act of self-love. It's not an act of sacrifice. And so this is the like we're stepping out of the consciousness of the human race and worldly thinking, which is if I have $100 and I give you 50, I have less and you have more. With love, there's literally no, with love, peace, forgiveness, those are all godly attributes and there's no limit to it. So the more that we give, the more we receive. There's this abundance that's different than the earthly give and receive. So when we step into these higher levels of living, we're actually in this space of pure abundance. I give it and I get more and I get more. It's this getting into the flow. Any questions about that, Brooke? Do you want to share like an example of this or
Yeah.
anyone else?
I love what Janelle just brought up. It totally hit me. I think that we do work back and forth. We're just a mirror for what we see in the world. We are, and when you spot it, you got it. In Matt Kahn's book, Love, Whatever Arises, Love That, he gives a ton of mantras that are so powerful. And he talks about the idea of if there was something that you really wanted to receive and never received, like in your childhood or in your adult life, that you just feel like it, like you're just like, I just want that, then give it to yourself. So create what you want to see in the world. Be the creator of that. And the example that they gave is like, if there was some compliment that you really wish your parents would have said to you, you know, like, you can't disappoint me, or I trust you, or I'm so proud of you, or you are so wonderful. I don't know. There's things that if you think like something that would really, really, really touch your soul and your heart, then be that, like, give it out as much as you can. So that's what I've tried to do with my kids. There was one time when my mom said, I'm so proud of you. And I really still remember that. And so I give that compliment to my kids as much as I can. I'm so proud of you. even also, especially when you mess up and you do it and you keep trying, right? I
Yeah.
am so proud of you to take you places. I'm so proud of who you are in the world. And so that's just one thought that I just loved. And if you want a ton of really powerful mantras, that book just blew my mind. Matt Kahn, whatever arises, love that. Yeah, there it is.
Amanda has it in her hands. So we did a retreat on that one, but it's so beautiful. And so I love that. And notice that when you say that to your child, you're actually saying it to your inner child too. Like whatever you give is given to yourself. And that's such an example. And so this is an example of like, I want you to really see how the challenge of this program is you apply the lesson to everything, everyone, without exception, throughout your life. So
Mm.
as you take this one sentence on, I want you to apply it to everything, everyone, every situation in your life. And you're going to see so much of it just showing up of like confirmation of the truth of this one statement. You know, my dad's really good
I
at
have a
saying
question.
how proud he is of us.
Can I ask a quick
Yeah,
question,
go
Paige?
ahead.
So just a little clarification, because I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
So with Jay's, with my stepkids, you know, you give, wanting something in return, that is codependency. And I remember Janelle asked me one time, like, what do you want? And I said, I just want them to know that I love them. So she says, well, then love them, but don't want anything in return. So I've been doing that. But what I'm hearing, and it's just been life-changing. But what I hear you saying is that if we practice this giving, we're giving it to ourselves, so we don't need it from them, or like Claire, I'm a little confused.
Yeah. I love the question.
Am I right? So
Yeah.
we're giving, and so we're not, because I didn't realize I was being codependent, but I was, you know, I was giving, but I just wanted to be valued or appreciated by them. And it was so important to me. So what you both just explained was, if all that I give is given to myself, then you don't need it from others, right?
Yeah. Totally. Like that's what it is if
Okay.
you understand this concept, then when I'm giving, I am realizing I'm giving to myself. I don't need someone to give anything back to me because I'm getting into the flow of abundance. So it takes us out of codependence. It takes us out of, if I give this, then I need something back. You don't need anything because it's giving to it's this accessing something that's so much more abundant than what they could ever give you, right? The amount of love they can give you is so minuscule compared to the love that's going to flow through you as you tune into this principle. Yeah, that's such a good example. And like Janelle was spot on. Like I want them to like know that I love them, but really what you wanted too was for them to love you back, right? And when you realize that, like, when you give that love, you're so proud of yourself and you are so filled with more and more love that if they choose in or out of love, it's just part of their journey and it's totally okay. Right? Yeah, that's such a distinct, different energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I get it.
Yeah. Dad,
Well,
great.
it's also not making it wrong, not making them wrong, which is then not making yourself wrong. So it's like this idea of like you're pointing at someone and you've got three fingers pointing back at yourself. So they're doing it wrong. Oh, well, maybe then I don't want to make them wrong. I don't want to make myself wrong. Maybe there's no wrong. I mean, there's ways to flip it, but really, I've been noticing this so much, like when I really pay attention to it. I'm pointing a finger at someone and criticizing, then I could find a way that I'm also doing that.
100%. So there's
And
that
so I want
idea
to
of
give back.
everything I give to myself, like I give to myself, that's also judgment. That's also, and what the beautiful part of this course is it helps us step out of judgment, and it is so freeing. Oh my gosh, like not going through life and making everyone wrong is so freeing. Like someone tells me they're atheist, or someone tells me that they like are angry or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, like that's okay too. I'm not the one to judge. And then I feel less judgment about myself. Like it's we get, when I am less judgment of others, 100% experience less judgment of myself. And Greg and then Casey, two men. Dad, Greg, did you have something to say?
Oh, I always have something to say, Paige.
I know, I love it.
I think the bottom line is, when you do something out of love and expect something back, you're always going to get screwed.
Mm.
I think it's giving other people power over your happiness, which is actually give up. So if you do something for somebody, I guess one thing that I was thinking of is, it's nice to do an act of kindness to a stranger.
Yeah, that's the practice.
Nothing is. You'll never see him again. So, like a word to a janitor who's,
Yeah.
you know, in the bathroom or something. You say, "Hey, nice job, look good," right? What does that cost you? Nothing. What are you going to get back? Nothing.
My dad's such a good example of this. We'll walk into a department store and he'll just start talking with the security guard and giving him all these compliments, and the guy feels like he's on cloud 9 after he's spent like, well, all the girls go and shop, my dad's just like lifting up the security guard to feel like he's like got every capacity for doing anything in the world. So just doing this with strangers is such a beautiful practice. And thanks for bringing that up, Dad. It's like, that's a perfect place, because there is no attachment. And back to the special relationship of, when we put this specialness on other people where they need to be a certain way for us, then we also, when they fail us, then we have this anger and resentment towards them. So it's a cycle that causes suffering. And if we have an unattachment to them being a certain way, then we can step into unconditional love. So Casey, what did you want to say? We'll move on.
You actually just so eloquently said part of what I was going to say, is that is the whole concept of opinion and judgment, and holding preferences and expectation. Michael Singer talks about it. I'm a big student of the Gene Keys, and Richard Rudden, he talks about it, that opinion and judgment is one of the shadow frequencies of humanity that keeps us, and you see it playing out in humanity when you turn on the news, and the divisiveness between this group and that group, so what you just said right there, like, and now I can't think of what you just said. You just said, what did you just say?
Just that we have this specialness. We put a specialness for people to act a certain way. And then when they disappoint us, we're angry at them, and then it causes suffering, right?
Yes, we cause our own suffering by our preferences and judgments and having expectations. That's what creates our suffering. Because when we have an expectation and our expectation is not met, then that's when, and all of those things, opinion, judgment, it's all pride. It's all of the ego.
Yeah.
So.
And so I'm so glad you brought that up, because we talk about when we're applying this message and the next 11 lessons to our life, we're actually involving ego. We're actually involving the 6 bodies, and including the ego of weigh, measure, and compare. The part of us that's going, hey, is that right? Is this right? Am I doing this right? Like that kind of thing. It's okay for ego to show up. There's an illusion that we can actually get rid of the ego. The ego is keeping making sure that I shower and I put clothes on. Like, we care what other people think, and we care, and we're way measuring, comparing. But we also want to use our mind and our intelligence, and using our mind as a tool. And we also want to use our emotions and really tune in and go, oh, how do I feel about this? Like, oh, I'm feeling this angst. Oh, what is it? And I'm going to give grace. And oh, how does that feel? Right? So we want to tune into our emotions. We also want to tune into spirit and connect to this divine intelligence that has all the wisdom and love and forgiveness and all the things, right? Handing up what doesn't work for you up to spirit and up to the atonement, right? Just going, hey, this isn't working for me, or hey, I didn't do that quite right. Like, let me just receive the forgiveness. So we're going to use spirit. We're going to use energy, the resonance around you, and stepping into that wholeness of energy. And then the physical, like, how do you physically, you're going to write, you're going to take your pen, you're going to use your body, you're going to reach out and give people hugs, you're going to physically use your body in this experience. And we're going to use our ego. So it's a job, their job is to weigh, measure, and compare. And we're going to tune into that ego and go, oh, hey, ego, like, there you are. And thank you for helping me to measure this. And now I'm going to step into spirit and emotion and intelligence. So do you hear it? There's a brief explanation on page 3 about this. But as you do this work and as you step into this lesson, I really want you to kind of keep referring back to page 3 and keep going back into, like, how do I embody this, and how do I use all of my bodies, all 6, to access more and more of this understanding and lesson. So we've got, we'll move on. We could talk about this for like 2 hours because it's so beautiful. And that's why you have your pods, like, share your aha moments. You really, in your pod, you're just getting on, you're saying, today I'm so grateful for this. This is, yesterday I said that I was going to do this and I did, or I didn't. And so I commit to doing it today, or whatever. And then today, this is my intention. This is how I want to show up. I'm going to really focus on my physical body today and really tune into that. Or I'm going to do the sitting meditation and really feel into my feelings. Or I'm going to walk and I'm going to just repeat this mantra. So you're going to use the different bodies to integrate this into yourself more and more. But are there any final questions about it before we jump into the breakout rooms? Awesome. So I'm going to open the rooms and you'll have 10 minutes. So we're going to do a meditation at the end. It's going to be really beautiful. But for now, go in and you're going to share your what, why, how. Each person gets about 2 minutes for that. And then the last couple minutes are just for discussing the lesson, if you have any questions. So, but just kind of, if you can have a timekeeper to just keep everyone on 2 or 3 minutes. Like, if they go into the 3rd minute, that's okay. But you want to share your what, why, how, and then we will come back in. So
What time are we coming back in, Paige?
it'll be 10:43 or 9:43 if you're in Pacific time. Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay. So go ahead and join your groups. Have fun.
Hello, I'm Greg. Hi, Danielle. Where are you?
I'm in my car. I'm a nurse and I'm in between seeing patients.
He's in Utah.
Oh yeah, Utah.
Yeah, I see you're in your car. A lot of people are.
And there's Stacia. She's in California. She's a good friend of Dana's.
A friend of Dana's a friend of mine.
I'm gonna hop in here just for a few minutes, but I wanted to hear the first few what, why, how, hows in this group. So does anyone have yours put together so far? Dad's still putting his together. He's gonna do it on the fly.
A little behind you guys. I don't.
He's joining a little later. So is Danielle. So you two are the last of the Mohicans. Stacia, do you have your what, why, how put together? Okay.
Paige, I am so lost at what I'm doing. I haven't done anything all week. I don't even know what pod I'm in or what time I'm meeting.
Okay, I will definitely call you and we'll make sure you're all set. You're in Dana's pod. So I'll have Dana actually reach out and make sure that you're on that. But the first question, let's just all go popcorn. What do you want from this course? What are you hoping to get out of it? Dad, what do you want to experience in return for your commitment to this course?
What do I want to experience? My that even better communications, kids.
Nice, yeah.
Particularly one or two of them. Not you, Paige.
Well, we are going to have better communication because we're in the same pod. So we're going to be able to communicate more often, which is really happy making for me. So, Danielle, you're in our pod too, I think. So I'm going to double check that, but I'm pretty sure, which is really fun. So better communication. That's brilliant. What about you, Danielle?
I feel like I've put up some walls and I want to break them down and honestly just love more freely. I feel like I'm holding back on giving love.
Yeah. I love that. That's so great. Love more freely. What would that look like if you could love more freely?
I think it looked like a lot of things. I think the biggest thing is I'm holding back, I think, in a lot of areas of my life, and it just feels really limiting. So I just feel like I'm limiting myself because I'm putting up too many barriers.
Yeah.
So it would just be more freeing.
Yeah. And why do you want that to be more free and to love more freely? What's the why?
Because I would feel a lot better inside.
Right? That's just what we want. We just want to feel better. I love that. Just that's a really good why. It's just like your motivation is to feel better. That's a huge motivation.
Yeah.
For human behavior, right? So, and it's so much of who you are is someone who loves and cares for people and takes care of you. So it fits into the definition of who you want to be in the world, right?
Yeah, I feel like I used to be more of that person, and I'm not anymore.
My experience is that you are, and we can always grow and we can always have more of what we want. Dad, what was you going to say?
That if you don't like you can love, it's because you're not getting anything back from it. And maybe the purpose of this course is to realize you're not going to get anything back. Don't expect it from anybody. If you get it, it's a bonus. You give the without strength.
Well, I also think that it's tuning into where you're getting it from, because you're wanting it back from here. But when we tune in up here, then you are always getting back so much more, but you have to tune into the frequency of it and allow it. It's almost like we often put a black umbrella above our heads and go, no, 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 I have to get it from over there, right? But what if you can get it from here and it's just like flowing out of you because you don't need it from the source that you thought you needed it from, right? Beautiful.
Yeah,
what about you, Stacia? What do you want from the course?
Am I off mute?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm a little bit nervous because my kids are going wild out there. But I think I was writing something down. I want to excuse me. I want to try to break away from negativity, and through all of this try to figure out the next step for my life, the direction I want to take. And as you were speaking this morning and talking a lot about suffering, I was just thinking in my mind, maybe I'm creating a lot of my own. Probably am. So trying to eliminate whatever my limiting beliefs or whatever I'm causing myself to suffer. I want to be able to get rid of that or figure out how to do that. Why do I want, or wait, what?
Yeah,
Why?
Yeah.
Why do I want to do that? Because I feel like I used to live in abundance mentality a lot more before I was married and had all my 5 kids. And I just feel like all my cup has been depleted. And maybe it's because I've been living in that space of feeling like I should get something back. Because when you are a mom of 5 kids, you don't get stuff back. And it's hard because after a long while, you just are depleted. And when you go through life experiences of divorce and all that stuff, it sucks for me. So if I can figure out how to attune into that,
Yeah.
that would be helpful. And also the how is just showing up to this class and doing the book whenever I get that. I didn't get mine, but whenever I get it, that
Oh.
will help. What, why? And then how did I do them all? I don't know.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad you told me you don't have the book. But yeah, doing the book is going to be so powerful and applying this to everything and reattuning. Yeah, it's so beautiful. So I love that. It sounds like you're really clear actually. And so how would you know you're successful at the end of the 12 weeks and looking back and going like, dang, I rocked that.
I think just basing it in general how I feel. Like right now, I'm just like, I struggle to get out of bed. I don't want to do certain things. So I
Yeah.
feel like just being able to check in with myself and seeing how I feel internally, I think that's just my number one resource is me and how
Yeah.
I
And
feel.
how would you feel if you were to like be where you want to be?
I think I would probably be less stress, more happy, feel more peace. I'm trying to buy into this love component, so it's gonna take me some time. It feels like a made up thing. Give love all the love, and it's just like whatever. So it's gonna take me some time, but we'll work on it.
Awesome. Well, the more peace and happiness, I love it. And just keep tuning into that and see yourself at the end of 12 weeks and see yourself like really experiencing more happiness and more peace. And keep that as your vision. And that's really important. So Danielle and Deb, what's your end in mind? Like if in 12 weeks from now you're just felt exactly how you wanted to feel.
For me, it'd be feeling healthier, physically.
Awesome.
And there's some psychological part of it that you have to. I think I've got it under control. I don't expect anything back. I don't expect my grandkids to show affection. It's okay. I don't need that. I'm nice to them. If they're nice to me, that's a bonus. But you can get ignored by your own kids because you're relevant in their life. And so, it's pretty interesting, something that I'm getting over, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Right?
So what was to improve the communication. And then if you had the communication, you'd have better, like, and then I think another to add to your what is to like heal your body through the healing of the emotions and healing of like choosing into love. It does have the capacity to heal the body and also to heal the communication patterns. And if you knew that you were successful at the end of this 12 weeks, you would feel like this real sense of peace at exactly how it is, and outside of the judgment of this is wrong, that they're acting this way and this is right. It's just clearly I'm showing up in a way that I'm proud of, and I'm communicating and I'm showing love or I'm showing affection, and how they show up isn't. So is that about right? That's what I'm hearing.
They don't show up, it's okay, because I don't actually, I'm okay with, without that.
Yeah.
Because I know they're going through a certain stage and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
I have things to worry about. I can't worry about how my grandkids react to it. I don't have
Right.
enough
So
energy for that.
the principle here is like staying in your business, right? Like being aware of this is what I can control and that's what others. So I'm going to leave the room, but Danielle, can you share your final thing of how you'll know you're successful, and we'll have one more minute for everyone to go.
Yeah, I think kind of a lot with what you're even won't is one of those words that should change. So instead of can't, I said beside not to, or like beside not, or something impossible is difficult. You know, like if you have different words to substitute for those.
Okay.
And instead of no, then there's something else to say. Anyway,
No, that's
should,
good.
could, and would are all like those words. It just is
we all
like
left our
these
room.
limiting words.
We all left our room, so that's why we're with you.
Oh, good. You're the punctual ones.
Yeah.
Like, are we still in the room? No, we're gonna leave the meeting if we leave
oh
again.
man, we're like smack in the middle. We can't just cut this off because the other person hadn't gone, but they hadn't gotten theirs done. So keep going until we have 30 more seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, Kate, we were just talking about all these different words to like eliminate and what a substitute would be for them. What would be a substitute for however?
Which one? It cut out.
Yeah, you cut out.
However, what would be
However?
a substitute word for the word however?
And.
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 Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
however.
I think and could cover quite a few of them. That would cover but.
And is a lot.
And.
Yeah, and's a
I mean,
really
but
good
and.
one.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in addition.
Right, all the limiting.
And we could also do this instead of like, but I don't want to.
Right.
So, yeah, that's great. So these
Yeah,
words of
totally.
elimination that we talk about in, I think it's page 2 or 3,
Some
4. The one of the groups went on to talking about those and started choosing the words that they can replace them with. So when you hear yourself saying can't, you can just say can, or if you hear yourself say but or however, or then you can say and, right? So look at that page as well. It's on page 3. So I'm realizing that just if you have to go right on the hour, then I understand. But if you can stay for 15 minutes after, these classes will probably go till quarter after, just because I really want to do some really neat meditations. And the conversation is so good, and getting the concept in for the entire week of doing your practice is important as well. So if you do have to go, I understand we're going to have this on a recording. But if you
in your room then.
don't, then I'll do the recording now. So I'm going to stop this recording and then put the meditation onto the next recording.